Your thoughts?
What? What? Who?
Nice.
What a gloomy Thursday. CJ Nasello, it's our daily show at 9:03. Welcome in, everybody. We got a good one for all of you today. Going to be talking to Luis Tenoya here in 20 minutes. And, you know, with it being 314 Day, which is my least favorite day of the year, I have a little bit of a poem, a little bit of a monologue, if you will, that I am dedicating to the city of St. Louis in about 17 minutes when Luis calls in. That happens, and 9:20, and then around 10:10, we're going to be talking to Steve Adler, and I believe Chairman Prinzer will be joined by him as well. We're going to talk about the Madison County primary that's coming up here in just about, 5 days. Tuesday, March the 19th is primary day in the county, and you can bet that RiverBender.com will be up in front and really providing you your daily dose of the election results and making sure that you get them right off the presses as we get them as well. So we'll be doing some election night coverage on primary day on the 19th, and we'll have some little bit of insights ahead of that as well. So that comes your way at 10:10. Then at 10:30, we're going to be talking to Dr. Kathie Wuellner with Pediatric Healthcare Unlimited. She is a wonderful doctor, and we're going to be talking about mental health in a different way. With Centerstone, we talk about their substance use disorder treatment programs, and this time we're going to be talking with Dr. Kathie Wuellner about mental health in prepubescent and adolescent children. And I think it's a very important topic that so many of you parents and grandparents would probably like to hear more about. So that comes your way at 10:30, and I'm very much looking forward to that conversation. But right now, at 9:04, here's what's happening around the Riverbend. Make sure you sign up for your daily email update where you can join myself and over 70,000 people who are in the know each and every day of the work week and on Saturdays with Around the Riverbend. We'll take you to Bethalto first. 2 suspects have been charged with 2 counts each of felony arson through the Madison County State's Attorney's Office, the Bethalto Police announced. Larry B. Tenen, currently incarcerated by the Illinois Department of Corrections on unrelated charges, and Alexis Broyles, 32 years of age, of the 200th block of Lakeside Drive in Bethalto. Broyles, apprehended by Bethalto Police and the U.S. Marshals at her residence after the warrants were issued. Subsequently, she was released on pretrial release conditions. Bethalto Police Chief Jason Lamb detailed the case for us. Here's a statement. On March the 6th, Bethalto Police detectives formally presented their findings to the Madison County State's Attorney's Office, concluding an arson investigation that originated on October the 7th. On the morning of the 7th, Bethalto Police and Fire swiftly responded to an active fire at 100 Wesley Drive, Lot 58, the residence of Larry Tenen. The Illinois State Fire Marshal was called to the scene for a thorough investigation, confirming later in their report that the incident was indeed a result of arson. Following a meticulous inquiry, Bethalto police detectives identified key leads in the case, leading to the charging of the following suspects with 2 counts each of felony arson through the Madison County State's Attorney's Office. Also in the news on Wednesday, Godfrey firefighters gathered at the new fire station on Godfrey Road for a presentation from Ameren, Illinois. Chris Shieldroth led the trainings. Shieldroth is a natural gas safety awareness supervisor with Ameren. He spoke about the gas line safety and the proper protocol to follow during a suspected gas leak. I'm learning from you just like you're learning from me, he said. I'm not a firefighter. That's your lane. I'm the gas guy. Typically, the 2 different lanes And when we get a gas leak, we're in the same lane. So the object of this is to mesh our protocols, our on-scene protocols, so everybody goes home safe at night. 4 firefighters were present for the training, which lasted from 9 a.m. until 10:30 a.m. Dan Brannon reporting out of Edwardsville that Nick Novicic, the commander of the Madison County Cross River Crime Task Force, reported late Tuesday, March the 12th, that most recent deployment of the Crime Task Force resulted in the seizures of heroin, fentanyl, methamphetamine, and a modified AR-15, along with the arrest of multiple suspects on felony charges. He said the task force conducted a deployment on Friday night, March the 8th, in the western portion of the county, primarily on Illinois 143 and Illinois 3, spanning from the Clark Bridge to McKinley Bridge. This latest deployment demonstrates our continued commitment to ensuring the safety and security of our communities, Novicic quoted as saying. Here are the noteworthy results of that deployment: a traffic stop resulting in the discovery of an AR-15 modified to be concealable and with a fully loaded extended magazine containing full metal jacket rounds. This stop also resulted in the discovery of approximately 200 buttons of suspected heroin and fentanyl, 14 grams of suspected heroin, and 12 grams of suspected fentanyl. The 2 suspects were arrested as a result of this traffic stop on charges that included unlawful possession of a controlled substance with intent to deliver and armed violence. A vehicle pursuit resulted in the arrest of 1 individual on charges of aggravated fleeing and unlawful use of a weapon. A second individual on a charge of aggravated unlawful use of a weapon. A .45 caliber handgun seized during that arrest. A second vehicle pursuit resulted in the arrest of 1 individual on a charge of aggravated fleeing. Another traffic stop resulted in the arrest of an individual on a charge of unlawful possession of methamphetamine, 100 to 500 grams with intent to deliver. Approximately 204 grams of crystal methamphetamine, that's what's suspected, were seized during this arrest. Another traffic stop resulted in the arrest of an individual on a charge of aggravated unlawful use of a weapon, a .22 caliber handgun seized during that arrest. A traffic stop also resulted in the arrest of an individual on an outstanding warrant for a probation violation. The Cross Rivers Crime Task Force, comprised of officers from police agencies from across the county, use real-time data from automated license plate readers in conjunction with saturation patrols to stem the flow of crime into the Madison County area from across the Mississippi. During this deployment, officers conducted 35 traffic stops and 2 pedestrian stops. Madison County Sheriff Jeff Connor had this to say: their hard work of this task force benefits the entire county, helping to keep all of our neighborhoods safe. It's collaborative, highly visible effort that uses cutting-edge tools to both prevent crime and fight it. I'm proud of the contribution made to this task force by our deputies. That was the end of his statement. Madison County State's Attorney Tom Hain commended the officers who serve on the task force, and he had this to say: the tireless efforts and unwavering dedication of these officers are the driving force behind the success of these operations. These significant seizures and arrests underscore the importance of the Cross River Crime Task Force and their proactive approach in taking weapons out of the hands of lawbreakers and removing dangerous substances from our streets. We remain steadfast in our commitment to prosecuting those who threaten the safety of our community. Also in the news out of Alton, Sydney Sinks reporting: Mississippi Hippie Mom Said No to favorite shops in downtown Alton will be marking a new location with their grand reopening at their new consolidated spot on March the 30th. From 11 a.m. until 6 p.m., shoppers can enjoy raffles, live music, performances by Freak Show Deluxe, and more at the new location at 300 East Broadway. Fred Pollard, who owns the shops, noted that he loves the Alton community and he can't wait to celebrate with community members and show off his new space. Newcomers and loyal customers of Mississippi Hippie and Mom Said No are welcome. Currently located inside the Mineral Springs Mall, the shops sell bohemian clothing, vintage toys and games, horror memorabilia, and more. Though Pollard said that they will be keeping the basic vibe of the current stores, they plan to expand their inventory, and their horror items will have will have their own room in the new space. It's important to Pollard to return to the community's support. He will be partnering with Refabulous Relics and Brass Monkey Collectibles during their grand reopening. Christy Hellrung from Refabulous Relics will have a pop-up table at the event, and Greg Brown from the Brass Monkey will grill hot dogs throughout the afternoon and invites people into his own store right next door at 302 East Broadway. Pollard values the partnerships with other downtown businesses. While he's excited for his move across the street from Mineral Springs Mall, he is glad he is staying in that same area. Pollard thanked the other business owners for their support, including Donna Nunnally, the original owner of Mississippi Hippie and the current owner of It's Raining Zen. He noted that Nunnally gave him some advice that he has always taken to heart as a business owner. She told me early on, don't go into this to make money. Don't go into this just to provide a service. You're doing this to give the community something that it's lacking. You're there to give, you're there to serve, and you're there to help the other businesses, Pollard said. He continued, and that's something I try to keep in the back of my head. I try to keep the focus away from, I got to hit this sales number for the day and more on. What can I do for the people who come in? What can I do to make their day a little brighter? Mississippi Hippie and Mom Said No will remain open at their current space in Mineral Springs until March the 19th. They will reopen on March the 30th at 300 East Broadway, beginning with a ribbon-cutting ceremony at 10:30 in the morning, and more information on the move can be found on the Facebook pages for the two respected businesses. Dalton Brown reporting out of Carrollton that the history of Carrollton's mayors will be the subject of an upcoming two-part series starting on Sunday, March the 17th. Both installments of the event are free and open for the public to attend. Mayors of Carrollton Part 1 will be presented by Angie Custer, the Carrollton City Librarian and Conservator at the Greene County Historical and Genealogical Society. The program will begin after a short business meeting beginning at 2 p.m. The historic Lee Baker Hodges building, located on the northwest corner of the Carrollton Public Square, will serve as the venue. The two programs, Part 1 and 2, will present some new information and correct some misinformation from sources cited in past reviews. Since 1867, 46 individuals have occupied the mayor's seat. Each one has been unique. Work is currently underway to collect photos of all the town's past mayors, which will adorn a wall at the Carrollton Municipal Building. Carrollton's first mayor was William L. Greene in 1867, and a drawing of Mayor Greene will be included in a PowerPoint presentation at the first event. The image was provided by a late descendant of Greene, Gertrude Greene Achenbach. The second part of the series, Mayors of Carrollton Part 2, will be presented at the annual meeting on May the 19th by Custer and John Langer, president of the Greene County Historical and Genealogical Society. Also in the news, out of Alton, Camp Electric and Engineering celebrated their new location with a ribbon-cutting ceremony on March the 9th, located at 4521 Alton Commerce Parkway in Alton. The family-owned business offers commercial and residential electrical contracting services to the Riverbend community. They also specialize in solar with the new office and warehouse in Alton. President Jonathan Wolf expects the company to continue to keep growing. Wolf noted that Camp Electric and Engineering started in Alton in 1950, and they've made a point to keep the company here in Alton. He said the new facility will better accommodate the business, and a new warehouse will store their equipment so they are prepared to serve people across the region. This family atmosphere is also important to John Thayer, a project manager with Camp Electric and Engineering. He said the company is growing, and like Wolf and Rawlings, he is excited to see what happens in the next few years. For more information about Camp Electric and Engineering, visit their website, campelectricinc.com. That's campelectricinc.com. And in the 10 o'clock newscast, we'll share with you some of their grand opening and ribbon-cutting ceremonies. Bradley Piros did report last night that the third annual Jack Warren Memorial Game ended early on Wednesday in the middle of the fourth inning between the Explorers and the Alton Redbirds around 7:30 p.m. The game delayed due to lightning in the area. Lightning continued and the weather radar showed thunderstorms were moving in. So, after a chat between Alton head coach Scott Harper and Marquette head coach Tim Fanistock, Marquette athletic director Brian Hayner, and the umpires, the game was suspended not even 10 minutes later. A makeup date has yet to be determined. The Explorers were ahead 3-1 after 3.5 innings of play. The game was Alton's season's opener, while Marquette was trying to bounce back after a 9-0 loss to Gillespie on Monday. Let's take a look at your weather at 9:16. What's going on here? Oh, well, we're having a little bit of an issue with our weather page here for a second. I'm sure it's because they're updating some of the things in the Riverbend region because there's so many storms going on, so our page is probably getting updated, and I'll bring you that here after this quick break. But it is 58 degrees. It's going to be raining all day long. I just looked before I got into the studio from the National Weather Service and other sources here in the area that we're going to see a little bit of a break of this thunderstorm right around 11 o'clock today, maybe even noon, and then those storms will be continuing starting at 3 p.m., and they will continue all evening. As of now, at the time as I saw that, it will continue from 3 up until around 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. tonight. So expect a break in the middle afternoon, and then around 3 p.m., bring out that umbrella or maybe just head in your house because there will be some downpours and some thunderstorms. A bigger chance of it happening later on this afternoon than happening throughout the rest of the morning. They did call for those throughout the morning, 10 a.m. until 11 a.m., but there's about a 30% chance of that at the time that we saw that information. As of now, the bigger chance of the storms hitting us are coming this afternoon. So if you have practices, anything like that, stay up to date on that. You might want to start making some rainout arrangements or maybe even some different locations to practice indoors as that lightning will be hitting the area. At 9:18 for time and temperature throughout the day, you can always call this phone number. We do happen to have that here at RiverBender.com, the landmark phone number, 465-4545, this time powered by Tom Lane. He's your local State Farm agent. I wonder if we can take a look at downtown Alton with our weather page being down. Can we? Oh, look at that. Sun shining in downtown Alton for the time being, and like I said, that rain in the forecast, it's going to break away for a couple of hours, and then by about 3 p.m. today, we'll expect those storms continue across our region. But at 9:18, that's what's happening around the Riverbend. And before I take a quick break, let me fill you in on Denise Sparks. She's the best. And I'm telling you what, you're going to love her new commercial. Denise and I talked about it yesterday. We got a shoot time from Charles. We're going to get that ready to go because, listen, it's the power of the purple and yellow trash cans. You know, you see them, I see them, we all see them. They're popping up like bunny rabbits all across Madison County, and every light in this basement just went off with the exception of my studio light. That's a little scary. But you see them popping up all over Madison County, all over the 618, in those select areas that Denise Sparks serves, and she loves dealing with customers. She loves that side of the business, and that's why she decided to do this new adventure with trash pickup. Listen, she was already the queen of junk for 30 years. She could have just stayed in that lane and been just fine, but she heard your calls. She heard you say, I need a new trash option. So many people, hundreds of people, if not thousands of people have said the same thing because with a certain trash company, you're treated kind of like a number and just a reference number. You aren't treated as a person. When you call Denise Sparks Junk Removal, you'll get that person on the phone and you're talking to a human. I know, it's that crazy. Some people have even said, CJ, I actually saved money on my trash bill by switching to Denise Sparks. And what I love too is her commitment to keeping our roadways clean. You know, she is all about strapping down those tarps, making sure there's no trash flying out of the back of her trash truck on the way to the landfill. Unlike some other companies around, Denise Sparks cares about our community because she lives in our community and she lives local. So whether or not you need her for her junk removal and hauling, which she's done for 30 years, and it's so easy. You send her a picture, especially for the curbside service. Just send her a picture. She picks it up. You're good to go. Or especially when, let's talk a little bit more about trash. If you're older and you have some mobility issues and lifting that trash bag gets a little heavy, or maybe you just had some abdominal surgery, some back surgery, you aren't allowed to lift heavy things, call Denise Sparks. They have a valet trash service where they'll go inside your house, pick up the trash, take it out to the receptacle, and then throw it into their truck, and they take care of it for you. That's a commitment to you, powered by Sparks Junk Removal and Hauling, and I like to throw in trash service as well. SparksJunkRemoval.net, that's SparksJunkRemoval.net, and reclaim your space today. Luis Noya coming up, my monologue for 314 Day coming up, and I know you won't want to miss it, so stick around. Our daily show hits you next. Is it time to buy, sell, or even time to consider a short sale of your property? Meet Lisa Webb, owner of 3rd Street Realty. This local, women-owned, family-operated realty group has over a decade of experience in foreclosures, first-time home buying, and so much more. 3rd Street Realty prides themselves on holding your hand through the entire process. Let their expertise guide you to your dream home. Visit 3rdstrealty.com and start your journey with Lisa Webb today.
I just got a new air conditioner. Top of the line.
I bet mine's better. It's so efficient and quiet, I hardly know it's running.
I've got you both trumped. I've got a Linux.
So do I.
Barrett Heating and Cooling carries Linux products to meet any budget. Don't gamble with your energy dollars. Call Barrett Heating and Cooling and start saving today.
Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
Welcome to Evergreen Place, a community that embodies joyful living, independence, and financial freedom for seniors. If you're looking for a full day of activities or to relax in your apartment, we have you covered. Located on the Alton Memorial Campus. To know us is to love us. Experience the difference at Evergreen Place.
DJ Mike Keith.
This is where I am today. Let me show you where I started.
Life's better when you're under our roof. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto and home coverage at the right price. Also, you can enjoy the dreams you worked so hard to achieve. American Family Insurance.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
Not sure if you've noticed, but those advertised prices from the other dealers are just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. At Roberts Motors, the advertised price is the price you pay. And that, my friend, is great news for you. Don't fall for their so-called incentives that will leave you banging your head against the wall. Go with Roberts Motors. Prices you can trust and people you will like. That's the Roberts Motors way. And trust me, it's the way to go.
When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today. Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
Worldwide, I say, hey, I'll be gone today, but I'll be back all around the way. Seems like everywhere I go, the more I see, the less I know. But I know one thing, that I love you. I love you.
926. Welcome back. Our daily show hitting you. It is 314 day. And we're still waiting for Luis. He's caught up in that. He had some weather stuff to deal with too. Media people, you know, they're always moving. Hey, but I do have my ode to St. Louis. And, you know, I couldn't forget about two of St. Louis's favorite pastimes as we celebrate 314 Day. dodging potholes and deciphering those temporary license plate stickers. It's like playing a game of real-life Tetris on our streets, except instead of blocks, it's potholes. And instead of a high score, you're just praying you don't blow out a tire. And for those temp tags, well, it's like a riddle wrapped in an enigma, covered in a layer of confusion. Are they expired? Are they legit? Who knows? It's like trying to solve a mystery every time you pull up behind a car with one of those things on it. But hey, it's all part of the St. Louis experience in the 314, dodging potholes, deciphering temporary plates, and pretending like we know where we're going when Google Maps takes us another way. And we know that that way is going to lead us down to, well, some dark-lit streets. But no, St. Louisans are a special breed. We've got the Gateway Arch, the Cardinals, and toasted ravioli, but nothing says Happy 314 Day. Like stuffing pasta with meat, deep frying it, and pretending like it's a delicacy. And let's not forget the weather here. One day it's colder than the stare you give someone who calls it St. Louis, and the next day it's hotter than the debate over who makes the best gooey butter cake. And as we celebrate 314 Day, well, here you go, from toasted ravioli to pothole weaving and the never-ending saga of those temporary plates. Here's to you, St. Louis. Keep on keeping it weird, and happy 314 Day, everyone. That's from me today. I just wanted to give you an ode to St. Louis. I felt like they needed it, you know. Hey, let's talk about events this week as we're waiting for Luis. Let's start off with the big one. Alton Little Theater, and this will be my live endorsement, is excited to bring to the stage the dramatic production of Alabama Story. It's directed by Lee Cox and Gail Drillinger. This play, inspired by true events, unfolds a poignant tale set in Montgomery, Alabama during the Civil Rights Movement. It's juxtaposed a heated conflicts between a segregationist senator and the firm's state librarian over a children's book with the tender reunion of childhood friends, an African-American man and a white woman, lauded for its humor, heartbreak, and hope. Alabama Story is recognized as the must-see piece of theater, and you have the opportunity to go see it tomorrow night, Friday night, and Saturday night. One of their matinees on Sunday is already sold out. People are really excited about this. Also happening this weekend, why don't you roll into some fun? At Mother-Son Bowling Night, it's hosted by the Godfrey and Alton Park and Recreation Departments. This special event catered to boys aged 3 to 12, and their cherished adult female figures will be held at Bowhaven Lanes with 2 sessions to choose from. For a fee, enjoy pizza, salad, soda, 2 games of bowling, shoe rental, and create unforgettable memories. Registration is already ended, and remember that there's no tickets sold at the door, but wanted to make sure that you did know that there's going to be a really cool event happening over there at Bowhaven, and just love that facility, and they have the best food, I'm telling you what. Hey, go over to VFW Post 1308 on Sunday for their monthly event that occurs on the 3rd Sunday of each month from 9 a.m. until 12 p.m. It's the perfect opportunity to savor pancakes, eggs, sausage, and beverages breakfast beverages while supporting both VFW Post 1308 and Scout Troop 1. Remember, it's open to the public, and the Post in general is open for the public, and each plate is served at just $10 a plate. If you want to make a difference this weekend, help Trinity's Way in their effort to beautify the stretch of Highway 67 during their litter cleanup on Highway 67. Volunteers will convene in the back of the Godfrey Walmart parking lot, equipped with trash bags, gloves, and vests, all set to tackle that litter and leave a lasting positive impact on the environment. And please note, as always, as we're leading up to Easter, RiverBender.com did create the Ultimate Fish Fry Go Guide for the region. You can visit the link on the event calendar, on the event article, and it will take you directly to the Ultimate Fish Fry Guide, plus 1818 offshore, some awesome fish specials all Lent long. On the 15th of March, I wanted to make sure you all knew that you could take advantage of the free tax preparation services offered at the Niedring House building, designed to assist families with an annual income of less than $60,000. So many people need that help, and man, it's expensive to file taxes. They'll take care of you. Now, you can also head on over to Lewis and Clark Community College. It's this event hosted by SSP, where you can gain valuable insights on dental care from students of the Lewis and Clark Dental Hygiene Program. This event, again, hosted by SSP. Go ahead and head over to Meowtown. You can celebrate Pebbles' first birthday with them at Pebbles Birthday Weekend, where you can join the festivities and make a reservation to have some feline fun. O'Brien Tire and Auto Care is inviting you to their 100th 118th anniversary celebration. Congratulations. That's incredible. Really incredible. Complete with complimentary food and drinks for all who attend in Granite City. O'Brien Tire and Auto Care, 118 years old. That's a feat. Get into the festive spirit this weekend at the Rustic Grill and Tavern in Warden. Instead of Wardy Gras, well, it's St. Patrick's Day in Warden, and you have a weekend of it. Celebrations featuring food and drink specials along with live entertainment. And then you can go celebrate at Sports Tap on a Friday night. It's their birthday bash, where you can get great food, games, and giveaways that are guaranteed to make for an unforgettable night, plus a volleyball tournament in the mix. Then you can head on over to the open mic night before you go pick up trash on Sunday with Trinity's Way. Get into the spirit and go hang out with them again on a Friday night. Their open mic night at Mavis Coffee, a place where musicians, authors, and comedians are welcome, where you can show off your talent or just go and enjoy the performances. You can experience the heartwarming musical Fiddler on the Roof, presented by the Calhoun Entertainment Company on Friday and Saturday night at the Center for American Archaeology Gym, and then witness the thrilling and dark tale of Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, at the Alfresco Performing Arts Center, a Broadway success that has kept audiences on the edge of their seats. And then you can end your Friday night with laughter at the live comedy sports match Fridays at the Old Orchard Gallery, where improv comedy is played as a sport and guarantees a night of giggles and amusement. On Saturday, head on over to the Wood River Moose and help them with their cleanup efforts. The Wood River Moose Roadside Trash Pickup will be held on Saturday, where you can head on over to Wood River Moose, 1349 in Wood River, and help them keep their area clean. Take a journey through history with John C. Gunther at the Reimagining Places of the Past Historic Preservation Lecture Series Part 3, The Gateway Arch, an Illustrated Timeline, on March the 16th at the Genealogy and Local History Library in Alton. You can also enhance your computer skills at the computer classes at Hainer for internet basics for all of you maybe that are older or maybe just not too much aware of how to use the internet, where you can learn all about it in a friendly and supportive environment. And then we can't forget what Saturday is. It's St. Patrick's Day. Celebrate St. Patrick's Day with me in style. I'll be all out downtown Alton on Saturday for the St. Patrick's Day pub crawl and enjoy a day with food, drinks, entertainment, great people. And I'm starting to call this, there's two big days in Alton that have really come up the last 5 years: the pub crawl day and the St. Patrick's Day pub crawl. Man, love seeing all those people coming in and out. And make sure you head on over to Johnson's Corner for their staple corned beef and cabbage. There you go. You can join the Easter fun at the Warty Toad LLC in Bethalto, where the children's Easter egg scatter on March the 16th will feature the petting zoo, the sweet treats, the crafts, and even a visit from the Easter Bunny. But it's not just for kids. If you're too old for the Easter egg hunt but still want to join the fun, still head over to the Warty Toad for their petting zoo and enjoy a variety of adorable animals. Plus, you can still get your picture taken with the Easter Bunny. We were going to have Paula Jameson on last week, but we had to reschedule. However, I do encourage you to go celebrate with Paula and all the great folks at the Grafton Art Gallery for their grand opening, showcasing an array of stunning pieces from regional artists. Then you can experience a unique blend of cuisine and cuteness at the Hop. See, there was a hop in there till you drop. Easter fun, March the 16th at Kasabi, Hibachi, and Sushi Express, featuring the Easter Bunny and an array of adorable farm animals. Wow. To be entertained by the talented dancers of the O'Fallon Academy of Irish Dance at Morrison's Irish Pub in Alton during their St. Patrick's Day celebrations, starting at 4:30 p.m. You can find the thrill of racing at the Highland Speedway during opening night on March the 16th and catch the action of the dirt cars, super late models, modifieds, pro modifieds, and even street stocks. That takes place on Saturday night at the Highland Speedway. Also, the Viva Las Vegas Gala, benefiting Partners for Pets, is on March the 16th at the LeClaire Room in Edwardsville. You can also indulge in pizzas and pies while testing your trivia knowledge at the Pursuit of Pie event on March the 16th at Brown Street Baptist in Alton. You can also test your brain power and support local businesses and causes at the Highland Women's Club presents Trivia Night on March the 16th at the Knights of Columbus Hall in Highland. Couple of more for you. The Frog Walk at TNI in Godfrey, led by naturalist Paul Shetley, and get close up with some of our hopping friends on March the 16th. If you're ready for a night of Irish cheer and rock tunes after you're done with the pub crawl, finish it off with the Ropers Regal Beagle St. Patrick's Day Party featuring Porch Cafe on the stage March the 16th. Then kick off the St. Patrick's Day festivities with the electrifying performance of Foreplay at the Pump House in Wood River on March the 16th. Good band name. I'm sorry. Rock out with Bad Tattoo at Third Shoot Bar and Grill 2 in Alton as they bring the best 70s and 80s music to life on the stage. Then start your Sunday off March the 17th with the Spring Equinox Sunrise Observance. It will be a tranquil experience held at the Cahokia Mounds World Heritage Site in Collinsville, where attendees can welcome the new season at 6:30 in the morning without any ceremonial conduct out of respect for Native American cultures. Meanwhile, coin enthusiasts can visit the Gillespie Civic Center for the coin show, where the Hilltop Coin Club hosts their 58th annual coin show from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. It features over 50 dealers, free admission, and parking, along with door prizes. Over in Clayton, the vibrant neighborhood of Dogtown will be bustling with excitement during the 2024 Dogtown St. Patrick's Day Irish Festival, offering an array of food, drinks, live music, and family-friendly activities, including a parade, with over 90 floats that showcase Irish dancing, music, and culture. In Troy, the Frieden's UCC will be serving up a hearty meal during their Frieden's Sausage and Kraut Dinner, with drive-through service running from 11:30 in the morning until 4 p.m. Until 4:30 p.m. Patrons can enjoy a traditional menu of grilled pork sausage, mashed potatoes and gravy, green beans, and sauerkraut, along with dessert, all in celebration of their 150th anniversary. Theater goers in Alton, you can't go to this one on Sunday, but you can go Friday and Saturday. The Sunday show, March the 17th, sold out of Alabama Story, but get your tickets on Friday and Saturday and go see a hell of a performance. Finally, in Granite City, Unity Baptist Church is hosting a really unique event. This is called the Poverty Effect, a poverty simulation, an event organized by Cornerstone and Metro East Mutual Aid to offer a unique simulation experience that aims to increase understanding and empathy towards neighbors living in poverty. Now, again, don't miss your chance to get your events in front of a wider audience. Listen, Facebook, we all learned what that could do for you 2 weeks ago. Didn't work out too well, did it? Utilize our community calendar and have so many thousands of people really seeing your event for free. And the good thing is with us, we don't bury them. If your event's on March the 17th, when someone clicks on March the 17th, they will see your event in that list, regardless of if you paid or not. Now, we do have some features that would allow you to reach even more of the audience in a different fashion with some of our event promotion services, and I handle those right here at RiverBender.com, and I encourage you to always reach out to me, CJ at RiverBender.com. That's CJ at RiverBender.com, and explore our wide range of event promotion services just to make sure that event goes off without a hitch. At 9:40, that's the time. We'll take a quick break, and our daily show continues right after this.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
Macias Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible, covering auto, home, business, and life insurance. Our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Macias team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals. Give me one reason to steer.
Hey, I just wanted to, we have to interrupt that commercial break real quick. My apologies. Per the Southwestern Community School District number 9, Due to the power outages in Brighton and Medora, the Southwestern School District will be dismissing at Brighton North at 9:30 a.m. and will be and the remaining buildings at 10 a.m. So once again, Southwestern Community School District number 9, if you have students in that district, due to the power outages in Brighton and Medora, the Southwestern School District will be dismissing at Brighton North at 9:30. They already just did that, but the remaining buildings are dismissing at 10 a.m. We wanted to repeat that information. Thank you to the school district for sending that over, and my apologies for getting that a little bit later. But once again, just interrupting our commercial break, due to the storms this morning, there will be, and due to the storms this morning and due to the power outages in Brighton and Medora, once again, the Southwestern Community School District number 9 will be dismissing Brighton North. They dismissed it at 9:30 a.m., and the remaining buildings are being dismissed in about 18 minutes at 10 o'clock. If you're a school district out there and you have any more information, regardless if it's Southwestern or Alton, you name it, you got something we need to get out, you let me know always, and thank you very much for letting me be a part of the information distribution channel. Once again, interrupted that commercial break to let you know if you did have any students in the in the Southwestern Community School District, that because of those power outages in Brighton and Medora, they are dismissing school. Once again, the Brighton North dismissed at 9:30 this morning, and the remaining buildings are going to dismiss here in about 18 minutes time. We'll go back to that commercial break, and our daily show will continue next.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway safe rubber tire dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
Macias Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible. Covering auto, home, business, and life insurance, our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Macias team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MaciasInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you.
Not sure if you've noticed, but those advertised prices from the other dealers are just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. At Roberts Motors, the advertised price is the price you pay. And that, my friend, is great news for you. Don't fall for their so-called incentives that will leave you banging your head against the wall. Go with Roberts Motors. Prices you can trust and people you will like. That's the Roberts Motors way. And trust me, it's the way to go.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, free is alive and well at Liberty Bank, the local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
RiverBender Radio has built 3 great new stations just for you in the Riverbend. The Eagle, the Riverbend's classic rock station. The Bridge, hit music for the Riverbend. And The River, today's country, and all your favorites. Check them out today at RiverBender.com.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
We walk the line and try to see. Falling behind what could be. Oh, bring me a higher love. Bring me a higher love. Oh, bring me a higher love. Where's that higher love?
Welcome back. Oh, man, 9:45. That's the time this morning, and whew, we're getting just a lot of messages and things, and thank you so much. Hey, I do want to fill you in if you are just tuning in. There is a little bit of a pause in the storms right now, but they are predicting still now. I just got another update that they're calling for the storms to, let me pull this up here on the fly, that they're calling for these storms to dissipate around 11 a.m. They're calling for a 78% chance of rain or a storm here in the 10 o'clock hour, a 74% chance of a storm in the 11 o'clock. At 5 p.m. through 9 p.m. tonight, and continuing as a lightning storm throughout the overnight hours. So from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m., you're looking at a 60% to 78% chance of a thunderstorm all night long. And then at 11 p.m., 12 a.m., you're looking at more storms. And then rain continuing into 2 a.m. But for right now, you're going to see maybe a chance of another thunderstorm hitting us here in about 20 minutes or so throughout the 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock hours. Excuse me. And then, once again, we're going to see a break from 12 to 2, and then from 12 to 3, then around 4 p.m., that's when we're going to start seeing those chances of storms. We're going to start seeing more thunderstorms again, and then by 5 p.m. through 9 p.m. tonight, that's when our biggest chance of these storms continuing as of now will be. So just wanted to keep you updated and in the know, as we always try to do. Let's take a look about on this date in history. In 1879, Albert Einstein, born on this date. How cool is that? In 1950, U.S. Senator, wow, this was a big story. In 1950, a U.S. Senator smeared actress Ingrid Bergman for an extramarital affair and caused a firestorm. In 1964, on this date in history, Jack Ruby sentenced to death for murdering Lee Harvey Oswald. In 1958, the first gold record was awarded to Perry Como for Catch a Falling Star. And let's see, other things. On this date in history, in 1950, the FBI debuted the 10 most wanted fugitives. In 1967, JFK's body was moved to its permanent gravesite. In 1953, Nikita Khrushchev began his rise to power. And in 1990, Gorbachev elected president of the Soviet Union. In 1776, Alexander Hamilton is named the captain of the artillery company. Let's take a look at music on this date. Any good ones? In 2016, Sony ATV Music Publishing announced that it would buy Michael Jackson's share of a joint music publishing venture for $750 million. The purchase gave Sony the rights to about 3 million songs, including the works by the Beatles, Bob Dylan, and Taylor Swift, but did not include Jackson's master recordings. Also on this date in music, U2 topped Rolling Stones magazine's annual list of the year's biggest money earners from 2005 with $154.2 million. The Rolling Stones were listed second with $92.5 million, and the Eagles third with $63.2 million. The fourth place went to Paul McCartney for $56 million, and Elton John was in fifth at $48.9 million. That's not a bad yearly salary. I think I could live with that. In 1995, with the release of Me Against the World, Tupac Shakur became the first male solo artist to have a #1 album on the Billboard chart while in prison. During the early 90s, Shakur had a series of incidents and charges of breaking the law. In 93, he was charged with shooting 2 off-duty police officers in Atlanta, though the charges were later dropped. He was charged for assaulting director Alan Hughes while filming Menace to Society and sentenced to 1.5 to 4.5 years in jail when found guilty of sexual assault. And that happened on this date in history, rising to #1. In 1987, Boy George scored his first UK #1 single as a solo artist with the David Gates song Everything I Own, originally recorded by Gates' band Bread for their 1972 album Baby, I'm a Want You. The song was also a UK #1 for Ken Booth in 1974. Also, on this date in history, Blondie were at #2 on the UK chart with their version of Randy and the Rainbow song Dennis, originally titled Denise, and taken from the band's second studio album, Plastic Letters. The track kept off the #1 position by Kate Bush's Wuthering Heights. In 1973, ABBA released Ring Ring, the title track of their debut album. It gave the group their first appearance on the UK singles chart, which peaked at 32, and became their Swedish #1 and their first Australian top 10 hit. Also, On this date in history, for the first time in British recording history, in 1964, all top 10 singles in the UK were by British acts. Number 1 was Anyone Who Had a Heart by Cilla Black. Number 2, Bits and Pieces by the Dave Clark 5. Number 3, Little Children by Billy J. Kramer. Number 4, Diane by the Bachelors. 5, Not Fade Away by the Rolling Stones. Number 6, Just One Look by the Hollies. Number 7, Needles and Pins. Number 8, I Think of You by the Mercy Beats. Number 9, Boys Cry. And 10, Let Me Go Lover by Kathy Kirby. In 1963, Cliff Richard and the Shadows were at number 1 on the UK singles chart with Summer Holiday, taken from the film of the same name. It became Richard's 7th UK number 1 single. Born on this date in history? In 1947, English singer-songwriter and pianist Peter Skellern, who had the 1972 UK number 3 with You're a Lady, born on this date in October 2016, he was ordained as a deacon and priest of the Church of England, but unfortunately died just 4 months later because of a brain tumor. But born on this date, Peter Skellern. And let's see. Couple more for you. Steve Lampert, born on this date, the English musician from Roman Holiday who scored the 1983 UK number 14 hit with Don't Try to Stop It. There you go. That's who's been born on this date in history. That's what happened on this date in history, and we'll come back and we'll talk for a little bit more. It's 9:52, and we'll wrap up the 9 o'clock hour right after this.
When I got in the car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone, and over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car, I have a job, there's nothing holding me back anymore.
Dream Home Realty Center. Hey, Sherry. Talk to me, Dream Team. We've got showing.
Whether you're a seasoned pro or a weekend warrior, gear up with Falcommit and elevate your hunting experience. From rugged gear for the seasoned hunter to adorable outfits for the little ones, we've got your whole family covered. Literally, because the best moments are made in the great outdoors. And with Falcommit, you're not just wearing gear, you're wearing the stories of your adventures. Discover the joy of hunting together. Visit Falcommit.com and outfit your family for the next generations of memories.
We are Phillips 66 Wood River Refinery. We make the fuels that take us to work and our children to school. We make materials and energy products that allow us to stay connected to each other. We care about the quality and safety of our products because we care about the communities we share. Our employees live our values of safety, honor, and a commitment to act as good neighbors where we live and operate. We are Phillips 66. When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Oh yes, it's ladies' night, and the feeling's right. Oh yes, it's ladies' night. Oh what a night. Oh what a night. Oh yes, it's ladies' night, and the feeling's right. Oh yes, it's ladies' night.
Welcome back, 9:55. Oh, we are coming up on the top of the hour here in downtown Alton on a very kind of weird morning. I mean, man, who would have called a monsoon at 7:15 this morning? But again, it's not going away. We got more updates coming your way here, and please stay tuned to the top of the hour as we're going to be not doing top of the hour news. We're going to be talking to Steve Adler, and we're also going to be talking to a few other folks. So we aren't going to do top of the hour news, but what I can tell you is that we will be having some very good insights. But right now, just as it sits, let me pull up our weather for you again. Right here on RiverBender.com. RiverBender.com/weather. That is the place you need to be to. As throughout the day, we are going to be having those heavy thunderstorms this evening. Well, we'll see a break here at about noon until 4 p.m., and then after that, that's when those chances pick up even more. A couple of showers and heavy thunderstorms this evening, otherwise low clouds, and watch for flash flooding, large hail, and damaging wind gusts, even a tornado tonight is what they're calling for. Right now, temperatures sit at 58 degrees. Let's take a look at downtown Alton really briefly. And you can see the sun peeking through, but they are calling for more chances of storms, a 75% chance in the 10 o'clock hour, a 74% chance in the 11 o'clock hour. You can see the sky cam in real time all the time at RiverBender.com/weather. And you can also stay up to date on our breaking weather alerts powered by the National Weather Service, and we are one of the first to have those alerts as they ding on an instant notice. RiverBender.com/weather. Stay dry, and we have more of our daily show coming to you next, right after this, in the heart of the 618. Is it time to buy, sell, or even time to consider a short sale of your property? Meet Lisa Webb, owner of 3rd Street Realty. This local, women-owned, family-operated realty group has over a decade of experience in foreclosures, first-time home buying, and so much more. 3rd Street Realty prides themselves on holding your hand through the entire process. Let their expertise guide you to your dream home. Visit 3rdstrealty.com and start your journey with Lisa Webb today.
I just got a new air conditioner. Top of the line.
I bet mine's better. It's so efficient and quiet, I hardly know it's running.
I've got you both trumped. I've got a Linux.
So do I.
Barrett Heating and Cooling carries Linux products to meet any budget. Don't gamble with your energy dollars. Call Barrett Heating and Cooling and start saving today.
Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
Welcome to Evergreen Place, a community that embodies joyful living, independence, and financial freedom for seniors. If you're looking for a full day of activities or to relax in your apartment, we have you covered. Located on the Alton Memorial Campus. To know us is to love us. Experience the difference at Evergreen Place.
DJ Mike Keith. This is where I am today. Let me show you how I started.
Life's better when you're under our roof. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto and home coverage at the right price. Also, you can enjoy the dreams you worked so hard to achieve. American Family Insurance.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
Not sure if you've noticed, but those advertised prices from the other dealers are just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. At Roberts Motors, the advertised price is the price you pay. And that, my friend, is great news for you. Don't fall for their so-called incentives that will leave you banging your head against the wall. Go with Roberts Motors. Prices you can trust and people you will like. That's the Roberts Motors way. And trust me, it's the way to go.
When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
Spirit, if I can, perhaps I may become a highwayman again, or I may simply be a single drop of rain, but I will remain, and I'll be back again.
Welcome back. The time is 10:02 on this Thursday morning, 63 degrees in downtown Alton, and in 5 days, primary day finally here. And I bet that everyone in this room is going to be excited for primary day to get here. Is that the case?
Sure will.
We're joined by Steve Adler, Dwight Kay, and Lee Wathan as we are talking a little bit about the Conservative Caucus candidates. And this is something very fascinating, gentlemen, because Kurt Prenzler was on the show and we were talking a little bit about this. And Paul Nicolausi joined us as well and filled us in a little bit more about, the data's there. And right now, a Democrat is not going to win in Madison County. If you look at, the last couple of elections, and the point was made that maybe some folks are running as Republicans that really don't cherish those Republican values. And fill me in on this, because you guys know a lot more than I do on this topic. The floor is yours, Senators. How can we start this off today?
Well, a couple cycles ago, we noticed that there were a lot of folks who were running as Republicans, but they get in office, and then all of a sudden, the way they vote, the way they conduct themselves, the way they spend money, all looked a whole lot like not Republicans, like Democrats. And so how do you know, right? Most voters, until the day they go vote, don't pay a lot of attention to these elections. It's a sad thing, but it's the truth.
Well, and Lee, not to cut you off, but local elections are the elections you should follow more closely than anything, because the results directly affect all of us.
That's exactly right. We can talk a lot about who's going to be president. We have a vote.
Right.
That's the role we're going to play, voting, right? But locally, you can get involved. You can make a huge difference locally, and it makes a huge difference because most of your taxes you're going to pay as a citizen are paid right here locally.
100%. And with that being said, Steve, you're running for Circuit Clerk for Madison County, and right now, as it sits, Patrick McGray is your opponent in this race. How are you feeling ahead of Tuesday?
I'm feeling like going to be happy to have the election over.
Yeah.
Okay. I joined the Madison County Conservative Caucus to deal with the fact that the Democrats are trying to infiltrate the Madison County Republican Party and have done so to the extent that we have several candidates on the ballot in Madison County who have only been Republicans for 2 years. One of them is Nick Novosich, the coroner. Linda Ogden from Godfrey is on the ballot. These folks haven't been Republicans for what we consider, long enough to represent the party. The problem is when Democrats get elected as Republicans, and we've seen this since 2016, is that when they show up at the county board and places like that, they don't do the Republican things. They vote against traditionally Republican values such as voting against tax reform. Okay, we're trying to get a referendum on the ballot to bring tax caps to property tax caps to Madison County. We can't get it on the ballot because the new Republicans join with the older Democrats in the same coalitions that they really had all along, and they're interrupting our right to vote, and we feel that we're right enough to vote on our own tax policy, and they've got special special interests that they're representing, and it's just a toxic combination for the taxpayers of Madison County.
Well, and I'm sure for the Republican base of things, it gets pretty confusing, as of now when you see, I'm sure a lot of your Republican, voters are going, hey, everyone's running as a Republican, what's the problem here? But they don't realize the
CJ,
split.
I have a ballot here in Madison County.
Thank you.
And a Democratic ballot, and as you can see on the Democratic ballot, there is one candidate. Joe Biden is the only candidate on the Democratic ballot for Madison County, and the rest of them are all running as Republicans. And we are here to sound the alarm. Okay, we have a problem here, and folks are saying that Don Trump isn't. There's nobody opposing Don Trump. That's not true. Nikki Haley is still on the ballot. Okay, so if you can, get in and vote, because the problem we have is when folks, good Republicans, don't vote, these Democratic candidates get elected. We, at the top of our ticket, we have Kurt Prenzler. I'm the second on the ticket, and we have a full raft of county board candidates. If you go to www.madcoconservatives.org, you can you can find out more about our organization.
Well, and I know that Dwight, that you're also going to be running for the 24th district, or the board seat in the 24th district, correct?
Correct.
And you're based out of Glen Carbon, and who are you facing in your primary?
Fred Schulte.
Okay.
Fred's a resident of Edwardsville, been a meat cutter there, and I think he's retired. But enough about Fred, a little bit about me. I had the pleasure of serving in the General Assembly for 6 years, and so my perspective is a little bit different than most people. All you see in Springfield is the bad things. There's very few good things that come out of Springfield, Illinois, and unfortunately, that's what I see in our county board. Very few good things, a lot of bad things. Let me just give you an example. Springfield is very good at taking choices away from you and mandating things. And that's exactly what's going on in our county board. They don't want you to have any choice whatsoever. And Steve mentioned your choice to vote on your ability to choose when tax increases go in effect. That's called PTIL. Don't you have the right to choose? I think in this form of government, you have the freedom to choose. Your county board in Madison County says no. The large majority says, no, you don't have the right to choose. We have, and this is not necessarily a choice issue, it's a common sense issue, but we have an entity out there called MCT, ACT. It's a bus line that's run by Madison County Transit, and lots of buses running around every day on a routine schedule. And most of them are empty, day in and day out.
And that's something I've actually noticed, too, just driving by the local bus routes myself. I will say that 100%.
Well, I've visited doors since the 23rd of January, and everyone's noticed it. What they don't know is that this entity or these entities have over $100 million in reserve, and the best they can do is keep accumulating that kind of money. And I guess one of my plans is to say we're going to abate that. And once it's abated, we're going to distribute that money back to taxpayers, because they need it a whole lot more than a bus company that has a load factor that's maybe 2%.
Right. And Dwight, whenever you correlate the General Assembly to what's going on here in Madison County, when you're talking about that with constituents, do their eyes kind of light up a little bit and just in awe? Because not a lot of people know what's going on in terms of Madison County government and the splits in the party and all of this kind of white noise that's out there. So when they learn about this, is it just kind of a light bulb moment?
Well, there's more people that know about it than I had surmised.
Really?
What I'm doing is filling in the details when I go door to door, and then that locks the deal. Then they say, oh, yes, I do get it, because they've heard bits and pieces. And the Madison County Caucus has done a lot to enhance the understanding of truly what's going on. Steve mentioned Democrats running as Republicans. He used one instance. I'll use another. The coroner is an example. We had a staunch Republican who was, and I will simply say, forced probably is a good word. I'll just simply say he chose not to run. A staunch Republican. We have a gentleman by the name of Novachis who is now the Republican candidate, and he's not a Republican as far as I'm concerned, because the last 20-some years, he's voted as a Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
I think 2022 was the first time he voted as a Republican. So what would you consider him?
Well, and that's a great question. But, also there are some folks that do, like with the 2016 election, did switch over and decide, hey, I think that this party's changing and I want to be a part of it. And is it hard to decipher, was this a true switch or was it a switch because you wanted to win an election? And that's kind of been my question for so many candidates. Did you switch because you believed in this movement, or did you switch like you guys say, and like a lot of us say, because you can't win as a Democrat?
Well, I guess my better question would be, why did the true Republican drop out of the race?
Right. Now, that's a great question. And do you guys have any thoughts to answer that question from Dwight?
We don't have thoughts. We know why he dropped out. But it's kind of slimy. And, it's a shameful thing to talk about. It's a shameful thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all of the stuff you hear about politics,
right?
I'm sad to say, since I've gotten involved, most of it's true. All the dirty dealing, all of the, imagine, if you will, you have folks that are out making a living every day, and they go and they vote, and they hope they get good elected officials, right?
Right.
But officials that get elected 24 hours a day, 7 days a week are politicking. They're in their office that you're paying for, figuring out how to win the next election, right? And they're making deals, and they're pulling their team together, and they spend their entire adult life, all the way till they retire, politicking.
Mm-hmm.
They will do, because it's their life. Imagine that, it's their life. It's not their job, it's their life. So they will do whatever they have to do to protect that. And if they're morally weak, they'll do some very bad, terrible things. They'll say some terrible things. They'll threaten some terrible things. So then you've got a citizen who says, well, maybe I should get involved in politics, right? I'm going to try.
Right.
Well, you get this phone call. And they say, well, if you do that, boy, we're going to do this. And then you ask yourself, well, why would I go through that?
Well,
and they chase people out of the races.
Well, and that's a good point. And no one can deny the fact that happens. It happens all the time. It's happened here locally. It happens nationally, where you have this type of, I guess it's, a little bit of blackmail that goes on when it's really not blackmail. A lot of it's just hearsay that's never, really formulated. But it does happen. And the dirty side of politics is definitely here in local races when, quite frankly, we should all be on the same team, I think, for our community.
When you mentioned, how do you know if someone's really a Republican, right?
Yeah.
And really, the idea of being a Republican says there's some values that we all share. Because Republican's a big tent. Like our organization's a big tent.
Right.
We don't really, you could be a conservative Democrat. You could be a conservative independent. You could be, but there are some core values. So what we've done to try to determine that is every candidate that we support signs a pledge. And it says, here are the key values that we believe in. Do you believe in them? If you do, we expect you to vote along those core values, right? And if you don't, we're going to kick your butt out by primarying you, right? We will become the same people that got you in will be the same people that get you out if you don't keep your promise. So what we're trying to do is put people in office who know that someone's looking over their shoulder, right? They're accountable to what they said. So for us, that's how we know, because it doesn't matter if you're an R or D. If you agree with these principles, well, that's what we believe.
Votes.
That's right.
That makes sense. Okay.
If you
100%.
If you vote, if you show up at the Madison County Board and you vote against a taxpayer's right to vote on his own tax policy, that goes a long way.
Yeah.
Okay. That kind of separates the sheep from the goats to a certain extent. And one of the things that I want to let everybody know as citizens, okay, CJ, I showed you the Democratic ballot earlier. There's only one candidate on it, Joe Biden. Ladies and gentlemen, this primary election on the Republican side is the general. There are no Democratic candidates in November. The choices you make on Tuesday, March 19th are going to be the winners. And a lot of folks don't realize that.
No, and Steve, I don't know if you were reading my mind, but that was my segue, because that's something no one's talking about. That this technically is our general, because there are no Democrats on the ballot, and whoever's going to, between the chairman's race, the circuit clerk's race, everyone's race is going to be decided March the 19th. Is there any other way that it couldn't be decided? Because at this point, they didn't get their name on the ballot, correct?
Well, yeah, they didn't get their name on the ballot, and reality is that there are Democrats and Republicans on this primary ballot, and it's goofy and it's twisted and it's not fair to Democrats or Republicans. All I'm saying is that we need to take a careful look at who you're voting for and who their alliances are, because there are Democrats on this ballot and Republicans should show up and vote, because when good Republicans don't show up to vote, Democrats get elected.
And with that being said, too, how important has it been for you guys to get out there and really inform folks about this ballot? Because it is a confusing ballot, 100% confusing.
It's fundamental to this campaign, all our campaigns, to get out there and let people know. And we've laminated these ballots and given them to people when we go door to door, so they see it's not our word.
Right.
It's the ballot that's proof positive of what we're telling them, and they're shocked when they see that. They're shocked. So when you tell them that the foundations of this primary are broken, that we have only Republicans running, they say, how can that be? I said, well, I can't explain it to you, but maybe a couple sentences. And they get what's going on. They understand that this process has been corrupted because they've never seen a ballot like this where there are no opposition Democrats on a ballot for a primary.
I don't think I've ever seen one in my short time voting. I haven't seen.
That's interesting because nobody has told me they've ever seen one like this either.
No.
You know, another cool thing about the way that this organization is developed and the way that politics, you know, as I'm a newbie and this guys have been in it for a long time, right?
Right.
But I'm a newbie. But I tell you what's so cool. If you look at where money comes from, right, and that's all public information.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go out and search where our opposition, right, to our candidates are getting their money, it's big money, right? Big money, it's 10, 15, 20, 30,000. Most of it's coming from Chicago. A lot of it's coming from folks that got big power and want to keep it, right? It's big money donations. If you look at how we do it, because we help these folks, right? Mm-hmm. We had a call out 2 days ago to get folks to come in and help us put stamps on. This is a grassroots effort. This organization works with grassroots. We're about grassroots. We are grassroots. We're not big money.
Right. But that hits the nail on the head, okay? Because you have to understand, when there is money from Chicago that is flowing into these Democratic-backed candidates, you know, I've seen as much as $150,000 be transferred. Last week, or just 2 days ago, $15,000 was dumped into my opponent's campaign funds. And my point in all this is that what are these people buying? Okay, I mean, come on, you're not going to give $150,000 to somebody or in $15,000 chunks for nothing because you didn't have any, because you didn't feel like investing it.
Well, Steve, that's just the way Springfield works. That's why I said before, what you see in Springfield is what you're seeing now in Madison County.
Well, and another point I wanted to make too, because you know it seems like as the general election comes, you know we get all these promises, not from the local side, but from the statewide side about how we're going to work for the southern part of Illinois, and we're going to make sure we remember you. And it turns to find out a lot of times it doesn't really happen. It's still the same old, regardless of who's Speaker of the House and regardless of anything. You can just look at the way the last 8 years have worked. How is there a way that you can put Madison County on the map with your board and really start alerting Springfield that, hey, this isn't working for us? There's a lot of folks that are disgruntled, and you can see that by the way the state splits.
Well, the sad thing about Illinois is that we've had dominance by Democrats from northern Illinois, and now we have, of course, a second-term governor who's a Democrat, and Pritzker has carved up this state in such a way that it's very, very difficult for a Republican to win. There's only several really, really safe Republican districts, so it's going to remain that way a long time, and I don't foresee that changing maybe ever.
And do you think the gerrymandering and redistricting's caused a lot of these issues with primaries? Because it seems like the way that the split of the state is that some folks have to get more wild and wild to secure a spot. If you're, on one side of the aisle or the other, it doesn't matter. Slap an R or D, you got to get louder. And then by the time the general comes around, it seems like it's harder to really find that consensus. That's just my thought for you guys, because you're in the thick of it. I'm not. I'm just watching, from the window here. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I think you're exactly right. I mean,
that's a first.
Well, it's common sense.
Right.
I mean, in Springfield, if you're a Republican, you're going to have to give a lot to get something. Mm-hmm. And the dedicated conservatives won't do it. And so they look bad back home because they can't bring home very much. And you pay the price to look bad. You may not get elected again, but that's the price you pay. Very few Republicans get too much from anybody in Springfield. It's a tough job. If you live in a safe district like Jason Plummer, I mean, he'll win and win and win and win because he's got probably the safest district in Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, if you're a Republican like Miller,
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't have a safe district. He's always in trouble.
Right.
A lot of these guys have tough districts and big money coming out of Chicago, like Lee mentioned before.
Yeah.
It's $200,000, $300,000, maybe $1 million. So how do you compete with that? Well, you don't. But what I guess my point is that the transition from Springfield now and what we're seeing in Madison County is very, very much alike, and it's very troubling.
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, especially if you're seeing those correlations from your experience hands-on on both sides of that issue. And with that being said, you guys got a moment to stick around? I got to pay a quick bill.
Sure.
Now, it's 10:21. I got to pay one bill. We'll come back with more of this great conversation right after this on RiverBender. Get over here.com.
When I got in the car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone. And over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car, I have a job, there's nothing holding me back anymore.
Dream Home Realty Center. Hey Sherry, talk to me, Dream Team. We've got showing.
Whether you're a seasoned pro or a weekend warrior, gear up with Falcommit and elevate your hunting experience. From rugged gear for the seasoned hunter to adorable outfits for the little ones, we've got your whole family covered. Literally, because the best moments are made in the great outdoors. And with Falcommit, you're not just wearing gear, you're wearing the stories of your adventures. Discover the joy of hunting together. Visit FAAP and outfit your family for the next generations of memories.
We are Phillips 66 Wood River Refinery. We make the fuels that take us to work and our children to school. We make materials and energy products that allow us to stay connected to each other. We care about the quality and safety of our products because we care about the communities we share. Our employees live our values of safety, honor, and a commitment to act as good neighbors where we live and operate. We are Phillips 66. When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
And I wonder why the little things you find they coming true. Oh, telephone line, give me some time. I'm living in twilight.
Oh, telephone 1024, welcome back to this 14th day of March. You know, did you guys hear my St. Louis monologue about Pi Day, about the temporary stickers and the potholes? Anyway, it was wonderful. But, you know, getting back to the real meat of this issue, and that is that Primary Day is March the 19th, and RiverBender.com will be bringing you that coverage live right here as we did the last 3 elections with more insights and conversations. Right now, as it sits, I think it would be really great for me, for our audience, to ask you what are the issues you stand on, because we touched on a couple of them, but what are the issues of the Conservative Caucus? What's the platform?
Pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, pro-taxpayer candidates is what we wanted to build, a different political organization. And the organization we formed was specifically in response to this problem, okay? The Republican primary voter is a very trusting person. You know, they pull a Republican ballot, they see Republicans on the ballot, and they figure, well, you know what, they're all Republicans, and they're not. So what we did was we came up with the Madison County Conservative Caucus, and we have a seal on the bottom of our literature that you can pick up any piece of literature and you can see that individual is a bona fide Republican, okay, and has conservative values, and I can guarantee you that person is pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, and a pro-taxpayer candidate.
And with that being said, too, on your literature, I think it's wonderful that every one of the candidates is giving out contact information, too. And that's one thing I will say from a personal standpoint, regardless of what side of the coin you are on this issue, you got a lot. It's refreshing to see that a candidate's saying, call me and ask what's on your mind, tell me what's on your mind, and let's see how we fix it. Is that something that you look for in your guys' candidates, or is that just an added bonus?
No, we expect it. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to come represent voters need to be able to tell you what they want you to represent, right? So, as you know, by saying that, what you've said is what happens when people get elected, then they disappear.
Right.
If you look at all the elected officials now, almost everyone in Madison County, you can't find them, right? They've got a bogus email. You can't get that. They won't return those things, right? You don't have a way to get them on the phone. You can't call the county building and get to them. So you might be able to get an email through. Mm-hmm. So once they're elected, it just seems like these people become politicians. I mean, it's just so sad, right? Because they go from wanting to do something, wanting to really make changes, wanting to really represent people, and they get in that atmosphere around all of these folks who've been in the game forever, and they love all over them, and cozy up to them and take them out for a beer, a cup of coffee, and before you know it, they're good old buddies, and then they don't want to vote against their buddy. They don't want to take a tough stand against their buddy. They forget.
Right.
That they're to represent voters. Voters put them in there. They're not there for a lifelong gig.
Well, and just again, that's an issue that it doesn't matter who you are, what R or D alike. It happens to a lot of folks where they're going to be the voice of the people, and then all of a sudden it's the voice of the donor check.
You look at as an example. You look what happened just this past year in the budget in Madison County. The parties kind of the higher end of the party, right? The old timers have kind of taken over the building there. The budget, for the first time in years, has gone up double digit in every department. Every department had a double digit increase. Every department. Now, think about last year. Last year, they had tons of money come into the county because of COVID, right? The government just printed this stuff like it was water, right?
True, yeah.
In fact, there was so much money that came into the county last year that this little group of power brokers hired one of their buddies and paid him $60-some thousand just to hand it out. Just to pass it out. There's so much money, they didn't want to take the time to figure out how to pass it out, right? So another job for somebody's friend,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's the kind of thing, if you don't vote, that's what you're giving into. That's what you're allowing to happen. And since this election is going to be so low, probably, the turnout's going to be so little, your vote means more than ever.
Well, and that's a great point, because that's what I wanted to ask is where's turnout right now as it sits, because this could make or break a lot of people's races. Down in the toilet? Really?
Yeah, it's really, well, yeah, CJ, in a Republican, well, actually any election, the turnout is driven by the top of the ticket. Okay, when Nikki Haley dropped out, okay, there are voters out there that believe there's no reason to go out and vote. But when you don't vote in situations like this, you expose the bottom of the Republican ticket to crossover votes. And these folks are endorsed by Democrats. They're going to come out to vote on election day, and when Republican voters don't show up, Democrats get elected. Isn't that in a Republican primary? I know it's perverse, but that's just the way it is.
Steve, one thing we might want to mention, we do something kind of old-fashioned. At least most of our candidates are out every day knocking doors.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday I knocked day before I knocked 70 doors, and it takes a while.
Yes, it does.
Those are doors that I had not met before because they weren't home the first time around. And so I made sure that they knew what their new assessment looked like, because I had mine with me, and it's about an 8% increase. And so I said, we need to put a stop to this. And these people agreed with me 100% that our taxes are outrageous, they're uncontrolled, and they want a choice. Now, underline everything that Steve said before about what we're about.
Right.
What we're really about is choice, people's choice. Because right now, they don't have any. Yeah, they can choose their elected official, but if their elected official doesn't want to be a representative, he wants to be a delegate, people at home are out of luck. And a lot of these guys get pretty big heads when they get elected and they forget how they got there. So what I'm saying is the fact that people come first and their choice comes first needs to be mentioned. That's really, really.
It's a great point you make, Dwight. And with that being said, we're running out of time here, but I want to give you guys the opportunity once again to share your platform with the audience briefly. And then, of course, I wanted to go through, if you wanted to, and name some of the candidates that you'd like to recommend to the audience.
Certainly. Dwight, you want to go first and I'll go second?
Well, I'm obviously I am a staunch supporter of Kurt Prenzler. I think Kurt has done an admirable job. In fact, he's done an extraordinarily good job as chairman under circumstances which have been less than favorable. And I don't have time to talk about that, but it's a situation which shouldn't have happened. It won't happen again. Never should have happened in the first place. But to go through a circumstance that he's been put under by people who have set him out literally to fail that's not right. And we're going to see that doesn't happen again. My good friend Steve Adler is a supreme person. He's a very, very sharp guy when it comes to numbers and organization. That's something that that department has not had. That's the Circuit Clerk's office has not had. And he's got a vision for the future. And I think he's going to do extraordinarily well. He's running against a fellow who has no experience. Frankly, he needs to grow a little bit before he takes on another job. And I think Steve should be the guy that everyone considers for that position. I'll stop there. I'll let these other guys endorse a few other people.
Well, as far as my campaign for Madison County Circuit Clerk, what we need to do in that office is we need to modernize it. And, there are some cases that still need, particularly civil cases, that still have to be filed in person. And, the idea that an organization that brings in $800,000 a month in revenue is going to make you sit there and pay your lawyer $350 an hour to stand in line. Today, it's just ridiculous, and we need to get that system upgraded. And the same thing with digitizing documents that aren't of historical significance. We need to get those in a position where your lawyer can find them without going to the clerk's office and standing in line for $350 an hour there too. And I've got a lot of great ideas. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna run into when I'm there, but I previously was at the Metro East Sanitary District, and I did such a good job that Mike Madigan and the Democrats sponsored a bill to give one of the board members to Granite City so they could have their way of life back. Well, I'm not into ways of life like that. I'm a taxpayer advocate, and I've always been that way. You can check my record, and whatever you could do to help me, I'd appreciate.
And then, Lee, anything else that you wanted to add to this conversation before we say goodbye?
Yeah, let me mention our other candidates and ask the folks to look at them and check them out and research them and then ultimately vote for them, right? But Michael Turner's running against a lady who, up until now, has been a Democrat for years.
Retired county employee.
Yeah, worked in the county building as a Democrat, been around through history, So maybe she's a Republican, but Michael Turner, we know, is a Republican. He's already served 2 years, done a great job. Bob Coles, who you may know, Bob is local here in this area.
Right.
He's the chief of police for South Roxana, and we're proud to have Bob on our ticket. Linda Wolf. Linda Wolf has been very active at grassroots. She's a member of the Women's Conservative Coalition. We support her. We hope folks do. Obviously, we support Dwight. I mean, you couldn't get a better guy
That'd be pretty
Dwight,
awkward if you didn't with him in the room.
I know, that guy. I mean, we're lucky to even get him to run, And then Doug Matthews. Doug Matthews is a CPA, so he'll bring some needed a money sense, if you will, to these budgets. When they come in and in less than an hour can pass a budget that no one questions, that has the kind of increases we just talked about, we need some fiscal responsibility, and Doug will help bring that in.
And with that being said, you guys are more than welcome on Tuesday to call in, let us know how you're feeling Tuesday night for election coverage. We'd love to talk to you all. And with that being said, it's 10:35. You can find out more information on the Madison County Conservative Caucus by going to madcoconservatives.org. That's madcoconservatives.org. And primary day is this coming Tuesday at 10:35. A quick break, and we'll come back with more of our daily show. Is it time to buy, sell, or even time to consider a short sale of your property? Meet Lisa Webb, owner of 3rd Street Realty. This local, women-owned, family-operated realty group has over a decade of experience in foreclosures, first-time home buying, and so much more. 3rd Street Realty prides themselves on holding your hand through the entire process. Let their expertise guide you to your dream home. Visit 3rdstrealty.com and start your journey with Lisa Webb today.
I just got a new air conditioner. Top of the line.
I bet mine's better. It's so efficient and quiet, I hardly know it's running.
I've got you both trumped. I've got a Linux.
So do I.
Barrett Heating and Cooling carries Linux products to meet any budget. Don't gamble with your energy dollars. Call Barrett Heating and Cooling and start saving today.
Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
Welcome to Evergreen Place, a community that embodies joyful living, independence, and financial freedom for seniors. If you're looking for a full day of activities or to relax in your apartment, we have you covered. Located on the Alton Memorial Campus. To know us is to love us. Experience the difference at Evergreen Place.
DJ Mike Keith. This is where I am today. Let me show you how I started.
Life's better when you're under our roof. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto and home coverage at the right price. Also, you can enjoy the dreams you've worked so hard to achieve. American Family Insurance.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
Not sure if you've noticed, but those advertised prices from the other dealers are just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. At Roberts Motors, the advertised price is the price you pay. And that, my friend, is great news for you. Don't fall for their so-called incentives that will leave you banging your head against the wall. Go with Roberts Motors. Prices you can trust and people you will like. That's the Roberts Motors way. And trust me, it's the way to go.
When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
Give me one reason to steer, and I'll turn right back around. You can see me turning. Give me one reason to steer, and I'll turn right back around.
10:39. Welcome back. 14th day of. I almost said May. It's been a long day, Dr. Kathie. Dr. Kathie Wuellner, Pediatric Healthcare Unlimited. my former doctor. I'm glad to have you in the studio. How are we this morning?
We're great. Thank you.
So with that being said, we've been having conversations with Centerstone about substance use disorder treatment programs, but we never really have the opportunity to talk about mental health, and to me, where it matters the most in our children and amongst our adolescent. And I'm really excited to have this conversation today, just speaking with you. This is definitely an issue that's hitting close to home.
Yeah, very much close to home, but nationwide as well. And people are wanting to blame the COVID crises on a lot of it. And it did have some, I think, impact, but we were seeing a ramp up of mental health issues prior to COVID.
Was COVID just the gasoline on the flame, maybe? Because I agree with you. I think COVID did take the blame for a lot of stuff, and these are things that we just kind of put the blinders onto until we had time to really process that.
Indeed. But things were already significantly ramping up prior to 2020.
And, well, that's really fascinating. So with that being said, let's just start off broad with some statistics about some of the mental health and suicide amongst children and teenagers.
Okay. So when we talk about kids, the statistics are somewhat broken up into a couple of different patterns. So in general, when you look at the broad range of kids from like 3 to 17 years of age, the major mental health issues are attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder, and it's felt to be about 10% of that population, or about 6 million, they're estimating. And this figure, mind you, is from 2020, so it's not even the latest.
Oh, wow.
Anxiety is the second leading mental health issue, but it's right at about 10% as well in that age group. And then we have the behavioral disorders, which seem to be more rapidly increasing, and those are starting at very early ages, truly the 3 and 4 year olds.
Wow. Well,
very much.
And what do you attribute that to? Those is it something that's always been there and we just never really collected the data, or is it truly an increase?
I think it's truly an increase, and I think part of it is that as families become more busy, have less time to contribute quality family time, that has an impact. We also know that the amount of nurturing that an infant gets in the first several months of life from their moms or from their surrogate mother has a very important role on the development of their mental health going forward.
Wow. That's very fascinating.
Truly. Yeah, and it's something that many people don't even think about or take into consideration. And then single parent families, just lack of support, socioeconomic status amongst a lot of people dropping, that seems to have a positive or unfortunately negative role to play as well. And then family medical history also is contributing as well, so that we're seeing kids with behavioral problems, a parent or both parents had histories of that as well. So as the population is expanding, I think there's an increase secondary to that as well.
Well, and that's really fascinating to me because, there's so many, when you say 10%, I mean, 10%'s a very large number. That's not just, 10 out of 100, that's very large. And whenever we're talking about some of these causes, I think a lot of it, to me, just is the fact that we're living a double life in a lot of terms in our social media, with our children. We're seeing all of these cool things and we're traveling on private jets, but none of that's really real. And it creates this false fantasy, really, that I'm seeing a lot of children live.
Extreme. Yeah, definitely.
And then what are some of the other causes and contributions, do you think? We know talking about the home, but is school a factor in this too, some outside interference, or is a lot of it internal in that home life balance?
Home, I think, is the starting point, but once kids get to school, unfortunately, the school environment for a lot of kids has become a very negative place as well. And there's more bullying that I feel is going on these days. Much of it is not reported, but I know just from my experience over the past 10 to 15 years of seeing patients, it's becoming more of an issue. And it seems to be more amongst girls, more so than guys. And it just seems that girls are just becoming meaner over time.
That is interesting, because for a while, wasn't it kind of the boys were more of the more aggressive or mean?
I think so, yeah.
Really, this really is.
And girls are becoming more aggressive these days.
Wow. And now, the one thing that parents, I feel like, have trouble with is because we're with our children so much, sometimes they chalk it up to maybe it was just a bad day at school, a bad week, or maybe things haven't been the best, or, they have some problems in their personal relationships, so there's not a lot of attention being paid to that child at what they're going through. Are there warning signs for this for parents to take an eye out for?
There definitely are. And like in younger kids, an increase in tantrums, a major upward rise in their degree of irritability, sleep issues at night, either not sleeping very well at all, and or sleeping way too much, performance at school dropping, grades dropping, not wanting to go to school. That's a major complaint that we frequently will hear. Can
I stop you real quick on
Sure.
that one? Whenever a child says, I don't want to go to school today, or there's, maybe faking sick, or, we all have done I flushed it, you just didn't see, I threw up,
Correct.
Now, for a parent, when you hear that the first time, maybe the initial thought is, all right, get up, you're going to school.
Indeed.
But when you hear that a couple of times, what should that conversation from that parent to that child be? Because you should know at that point, there's something more to this. But what's the best way to have that conversation without making your child feel like we're attacking you and there's something wrong with you?
Right. Basically, things to ask your child would be, well, tell me why you would like to stay home today. Do you have a big test today at school? Is somebody bothering you at school? Questions like that will help the parent try to seek out reasons why or what is going on at school is a reason that their child is not wanting to go.
Really fascinating. And then, I didn't mean to cut you off. Is there other warning signs to look for too on top of that?
Yeah. So in older kids, an expression of, oh, I just don't feel I'm good enough. I'm trying hard, but it just doesn't seem to be working. Also, a change in their friends, meaning like they have decided to not have friends anymore. Staying in their rooms much more often, coming home from school, going to bed, not wanting to get up and eat with the family, not wanting to partake in family activities anymore. Parents finding evidence of alcohol or other drug usage, which is something new for them. Poor sleep habits,
and
many things.
What I find fascinating too is when I'm hearing some of those things to look for, like you said, or we said a couple of minutes ago, the first time, it happens, you go, okay, something's up. But a lot of times you parents think, well, this is just them going, if they're adolescent, is this just them going through, the change of puberty? Is that somewhat of a red herring sometimes, where they see that and go, oh, it's just that, they'll be fine in 2 months?
Yeah, I think if it's a sudden change, it's really something that needs to be paid attention to and looked into.
Man, I'm loving this conversation, Dr. Kathie. We're doing some great work here. It's 10:49. I do got to pay one last bill of the hour, but we'll come back with Dr. Kathie Wuellner, Pediatric Healthcare Unlimited, and we learn more about child and adolescent mental health right here on RiverBender.com.
When I got in the car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone. And over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car, I have a job, there's nothing holding me back anymore.
Dream Home Realty Center. Hey Sherry, talk to me, Dream Team. We've got showing.
Whether you're a seasoned pro or a weekend warrior, gear up with FAAP Commit and elevate your hunting experience. From rugged gear for the seasoned hunter to adorable outfits for the little ones, we've got your whole family covered. Literally, because the best moments are made in the great outdoors. And with FAAP Commit, you're not just wearing gear, you're wearing the stories of your adventures. Discover the joy of hunting together. Visit FAAPcommit.com and outfit your family for the next generations of memories.
We are Phillips 66 Wood River Refinery. We make the fuels that take us to work and our children to school. We make materials and energy products that allow us to stay connected to each other. We care about the quality and safety of our products because we care about the communities we share. Our employees live our values of safety, honor, and a commitment to act as good neighbors where we live and operate. We are Phillips 66. When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
They'd be your partner, they'd be your partner, and you're so vain. You probably think this song is about you. You're so vain. You're so vain. I bet you think this song is about you. Don't you? Don't you?
We always have a better segment when the microphone's off, you know? 10:52, welcome back to this 14th day of March. It's Pie Day. You know, I'm not a fan of Pie Day. You know, I like Stone Cold Steve Austin Day, you know, 316 Day, love it. You know, as we're getting back to this, Dr. Kathie, it's such an important topic, and whenever I know how busy you are, and so to devote your time, it shows to me that there is a need to get this information out there, and parents do need to know this. And let's just go right back into the list because, you know, we always know about Centerstone and all these other organizations for older adults. But for children, are there very many treatment opportunities out there?
So Centerstone does do pediatric counseling as well. Unfortunately, the wait lists to get in are very long. And unfortunately, as with many mental health agencies, there's a fairly high turnover rate. So a child might be able to see a therapist one time, but then that therapist leaves, and then they have to be reintroduced to a new one, which might be several months before the next counseling session. And typically, counseling sessions should be taking place at least on a weekly basis. But for people who don't have regular commercial health insurance, the wait getting into a mental health agency, Centerstone, Southern Illinois Healthcare Foundation, it's 6 to 9 months.
But that's not even a viable number. I mean, because in 9 months, especially if that individual's really in turmoil, who knows what tomorrow brings, let alone 9 months from now.
Very much. It's extremely, extremely frustrating.
Well, and then on the parent side of things, too, when we're talking specifically for children and adolescents, I mean, that's another 6 to 9 months of just trying to deal with what you can and handle it day by day. And that puts weight on the family.
as well as the school system as well.
Yeah, that's I didn't even think about that because they're still having to go to school and they're having those issues in that environment and then putting others at risk potentially too.
Indeed. Yeah.
Wow. And in terms of the state, the state of Illinois, what are they doing in your opinion to help the treatment or maybe help raise awareness or maybe even help fund some of the treatment of the children and adolescents in this crisis?
So in 2022, Governor Pritzker created a children's behavioral health transformational evaluation. The results were put out about a year ago, and a plan has been laid out to.
Wow.
It's been laid out. Unfortunately, we are not seeing any of the effects at this point yet. But it's to try to provide a more centralized location where parents can go to get mental health support for their children, to increase mental health services, not only with counseling, but with more psychiatric beds, more residential care centers for kids who need more long-term psychiatric care.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's several years off before we're going to see a true realization of that.
Currently, right now, what is the normal procedure for a child? Because I really don't know about this too much.
Okay. To be evaluated, or
the whole to be evaluated. We'll start with that first.
Okay. So all pediatricians are now starting doing the well visits on a yearly basis at age 15. We do a depression questionnaire and truly find out some important data when we do that.
I bet.
Yeah. And so there's screening procedures in place. And then in terms of treatment, counseling is first and foremost. When that's not readily available, we do have some books that we recommend to parents that they can work with their kids. For teenagers who have phones, there's some great apps that help with mindfulness, stress release, that type of thing. But they still don't replace what counseling can provide.
100%.
Yeah. And then there's medications also too. And when we decide when a medication is needed, is when that degree of anxiety or depression or whatever other mental health illness is present at the time. If it's impacting on their daily life of school attendance, job performance, school performance, family interactions, then we oftentimes will recommend medication.
And with that too, the medication, I'm sure whenever you start that process, it could be an up or downhill battle, it seems like, because some medication might work for some and others it might be a different dosage or maybe a different experience. What does that look like as you're trying to figure out what would work best for that individual in terms of medication?
So follow-up, we try to make, and there's guidelines for treatment and follow-up, but initially, if we do start a medication, we'll have them come back in a month, make sure that things are better, make sure that they're definitely not any worse. And a lot of times, parents can start to see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. And so we might maintain a dose, we might take it up, and then routine follow-up is usually like every 3 months, sometimes closer if needed. And then once someone is stabilized, we space it out to like 4 to 6 months.
Really interesting. And now in terms of, the parents' involvement in this, this is a journey. And you're, walking through this with your son or daughter, whoever.
Right.
Whenever they're on this journey, what are some of the tips that maybe you could provide a parent right now about maybe that positive encouragement with, because sometimes a kid might say, gosh, you've already asked me that. I'm fine. Leave me alone.
Right.
But how important is it to still make sure, hey, I am talking to you because I care about you, I love you. What are some tips that you can provide for that?
So indeed, basically just what you said is very important. Look, I really love you. I care about you. Please don't consider this a nag kind of thing. But just being there for all of their activities, go to their sports events, go to their theater events, try to take them out, do special things with them. Just be a good parent.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of whenever, because I know a lot, and this sounds wild to say, I know a lot of children that are 7, 8 years old that have social media and they have all of these accounts and everything else. To me, I just don't see that as feasible. But for you, you're the professional in this, and I'm just the guy blabbing into this microphone. How important is it, in your opinion, to limit that screen time or maybe limit apps in general? Is that an important issue, or is that just me creating an issue?
No. Apps in general are creating, I think, a major important negative component to mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And I would strongly encourage parents to hold off with cell phones, with apps, until maybe high school.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that some parents need contact with their kids, so buy them a flip phone that don't have any apps on them.
Yep.
But I've had multiple experiences with patients at 10 and 11 years of age who've already had pretty horrific experiences from apps, from sexual connotations to here's a way to kill yourself kind of apps. So parents need to really know what their kids are looking at. And parents think they might have controls on, but there's ways that kids finagle around them. And there's some very disturbing apps that are out there. And then the algorithms that just the general platforms of Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat, et cetera, use. Once a child goes and looks perhaps at a depression or, maybe am I thinking about suicide, then that's what they keep getting fed over and over and over. And it almost just becomes a reality to the kid, like, oh, okay, this is okay.
Is self-diagnosing happening on social media too with children? Because and the way I mean by that, if I need to clarify for the audience, is, sometimes there's folks that talk about maybe a symptom or a disease or an ailment they have, or maybe a mental ailment that they're battling. Do children sometimes watch that and go, oh, I do the same thing and I have that too?
They do, but not very often.
Okay.
That normally is not what brings a kid in to the office.
That's what I was curious about. And I mean, we've been talking for almost 30 minutes now, and I just can't believe how much I've learned about this. And, what's the best way, Dr. Kathie, for parents to learn more information? Is there any websites that you can give them, or any other maybe just URLs, links?
Okay, so the American Academy of Pediatrics has a great website that people can go and get mental help information. The CDC, the Center for Disease Control, also has a lot of information on that as well. And then just Googling can get you to some really good sites as well.
Absolutely. And Dr. Kathie, I've loved this conversation. You are welcome back for more of these, because they're so important for the audience to really learn more about, and especially because so many parents don't know what to do. And that's what I'm starting to understand too. You're meeting with them a lot. Is that kind of the case?
Indeed. Yeah. And I guess the one other thing that I really want to point out to parents is that we look at teenagers as young adults. And that's the group that has the highest rate of suicide. And in fact, between 15 and 19-year-olds, it's the second leading cause of death in that age group, behind automobile accidents. The driving force behind that is that we think of them as young adults, but their reality testing, the center of the brain that's called the precortex area does not fully mature until the early 20s. So reality testing doesn't really come to fruition until sometimes early 20s. And kids, as teenagers, act more on impulse. And when you act on impulse, you end up doing some pretty crazy things sometimes.
100%. And Dr. Kathie, thank you so much for your insights today. And I do want to highlight that I got the best care at Pediatric Healthcare Unlimited over there at 4 Memorial Drive. And you guys do a fantastic job. And I know so many people that still utilize you guys and just can't get enough out of it. And thank you so much for bringing us your insights today.
My pleasure.
With that being said, I'm overtime. Boss, you're getting charged for another hour. 11:05, that's the time on a Thursday morning, but I'm out of here. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Dr. Kathie. And we'll see you again tomorrow for sports and all the gamut of conversations that are going to be hitting you here in the heart of the 618. On that note, enjoy your day, grab your umbrella, and try your best to stay out of jail.
He said he would.